it's actually going to work that time. Welcome back to Rogue Mystic Divination. It's been a while since I've done the reading, but I'm trying to change things, and now I think I might actually have my voice back. So most of you are going to catch us on the recast, but this is going to be for the weekend of January 16th through the 18th. Now, I am going to start with the collective and then do Ophiuchus, and then after that it will be all the other signs in the regular rotation. So after this goes live, I will be sure to try and timestamp everything accordingly. So if you're catching this at a later date, please be sure to check the top comment, and that is probably where you're going to find your best answer, your best link. So I will also be putting up a weekly reading for the 18th through the 24th, and trying to get back on track with everything, including the dailies, but that might not be until February. So anyway, for the collective for the weekend of January 16th, starting on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I will also be doing the Midnight Oracle cards and also an Angel Oracle card. So be on the lookout for that. Hopefully these are going to be kind of quick, and we are going to be moving along right now. So for the collective, for the weekend, we have the Magician, a Two of Swords in reverse, and the Strength card. So anything you start this weekend, I don't feel like it's going to be working out the way you thought it was going to, collective. Of course, the Magician is new beginnings, new energy, starting something new, and with the Two of Swords right there, you may have an issue to where you can't do it exactly how you want it to, but somehow it's going to work out in your favor. The choice that doesn't seem to be ideal will be the stronger position to move forward from, and you'll luckily be able to move forward without any kind of resignation about it, like totally discarding the way you wanted to do it before. Now, there is going to be many of you who are looking at this and thinking that, well, I put all this energy into making this plan. The plan doesn't matter if it doesn't work. If it's not practical, it's not going to turn into anything. Now, yeah, it kind of helps put your mind right and see where it is that you wanted things to go. But often enough, whenever it doesn't work out, you don't end up being able to move on those plans. All it was you needed to get it out of your system. Get out of your system and make way for the way things needed to truly go. And a Midnight Oracle card for the collective. The Guardian of Grace, and all these are pre-shuffled, and I'm just shuffling the tarot cards as I go because I'm pulling a lot more of them. The Guardian of Grace, are you holding on to something because you can only see the good in it, and you think you're protecting something by not allowing this outside opinion, these outside influences to kind of sully your vision of something? And I think that comes back to this Magician energy. Like, you want to do something and you have this great idea, but it's like after you do all of the mental work on it, it's like, that's great, but now I have to go do this. And the thing you have to go do that's based more in reality ends up being the thing that really works out for you in the long run. Now, for an angel card for this weekend, we have the outdoors with Angel Jophiel. Go outside and get some fresh air and connect with nature. Relieve stress and gain new creative ideas. So, again, I'm going to go back to this. You could just be in your head about something and you need to get that kind of static mental energy out of your system, Go wild painting a wall. with your own design, not really consciously thinking about it. Write down whatever thoughts are in your head and then look at it and say, that's great and that's what that is, but now I have to go do something else. And that it's fine for there to be those two distinctive areas for your life and for your creativity, for your action. So moving on for Ophiuchus. For this weekend we have the Devil. Now I have had a totally different view of the Devil lately, and now we also have the Hermit in reverse and the Four of Pentacles coming out with this, but with the Devil, it's hard to see him as the bad guy anymore for me. Like, oh, well, this is the thing that you have to do, that you have to acknowledge about yourself. Anymore, I see this card and I can't help but think, can I get a witness? There's someone involved in a pairing, in a court case, in a conversation where you may be tying yourself to somebody else, and one of these two parties, whether it's you or the other person, really want somebody else to be a witness to this. Like, this is happening, and there's not much I can do about it because you may feel unempowered, you may feel like you don't have a choice but to agree to this and to be a part of this. Like you're at the end of a dead-end street and there's no way that you can get out of it, and there's somebody else that's willing to be there and kind of present both sides of the situation, the above and the below, and really lay it out for both sides. And one side really feels as though it's more committed to saying, like, this is okay, this is fine, but they may also be getting more out of it than you are, Ophiuchus. So this could apply to the collective too, since I said that. But is this a codependency that's really worth it in the long run? And there really is something truly foundational about this with the Four of Pentacles. Like, it's going to get you moving to some other area where you can find stability. However, with that Hermit in reverse, is it just because you're unable to see a way outside of that? Maybe you've only been presented with this option that benefits somebody else, and they're trying to paint it like this is the only way that this is going to work out. And there's 4 points here that you need to consider, because you are trying to get somewhere, you are trying to move towards something, and unless all 4 of those tires are on the ground, unless all 4 points of contact are being made by that table, how much of a foundation is that going to be? How much is that really going to be stable for you in the long run? If you are a Ophiuchus and you're in this position, you may find that your resignation is distancing you from yourself, how it is that you see yourself, and your true goal at the end of the day, at the end of the weekend. And a big part of this is going to be that maybe these stall patterns are going to be to your benefit, and it's kind of like trying out for the majors and getting a broken leg or a broken arm, and then your career is derailed, but it puts you into a position to discover something you truly love that doesn't require your physical body. Maybe you discover art, or you want to go into medicine, and you're on a totally different path in life. So, Oracle card, or Midnight Oracle card for Ophiuchus for the next 3 days. Root of Creation. What did you start out doing? Why were you doing it? Every creation starts with the root of desire, and it may not always be something that you voluntarily start. Accidents happen, and sometimes they can be the best things that happen for us in life, and oddly enough, give us the most stability. So, Angel card for Ophiuchus. Remember who you are. You are not what you do for other people. You're not what other people require of you. So with Archangel Michael, you are a powerful, loving, and creative child of God. You are very loved. So ensure that you're being you. You don't need to change yourself for or want the things that other people want you to want. You don't have to be you don't have to want to be what other people want you to be, if that makes any sense. Moving on to Aries. So, for the weekend, we have Justice and Justice in reverse. You could find yourself working on the dishonesty of somebody else, and then somehow you still feel like you need to hold up your end of the bargain, because we've got the Four of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles. Like, you're trying to put the work in for something, and you're trying to do your due diligence, but in doing your due diligence, you find out the core cause of why somebody wanted to work with you, and why they have you doing this instead of doing it themselves. Now, I don't think you're really going to find any kind of repercussions out of this because you catch it. It feels like you're really going to catch it because you'll be able to pull up these three ideas that you're kind of laying out for the other person. And whenever you're doing that, if you're dealing with somebody else's weekend, or the actions of somebody else, like, almost like they're trying to have you come in and clean up their mess, but they're not trying to make it look like that. And they could be utilizing some kind of guilt to get you to do it. Like, oh, I've done this for you, I've done that for you, I never asked you for help. And they don't want to be honest about why they're getting you to do this for them. But, like I said, with the Four of Swords, you have these three things that are up there, and it's like you repeat them back to them with the exact same language that they used to ask you to do this. And it doesn't sound right whenever it's coming out of your mouth, but whenever they say it, it's correct and there's nothing wrong with it. But if you were asking them to do this for them, if you were asking them to do this for you, they would have an issue with it. So this is all based on this idea down here that the Knight is laid to rest on, that I think you're going to have no problem being able to walk away from doing whatever this is. Like, you even, like, get up in the morning, get dressed, get ready to go do this with this person or for this person, and this whole conversation comes up, and you're not drunk from the night before, you have a clear mind, you haven't worked 18 hours, and just agreed to something blindly to get the conversation over with. You've put the due diligence into finding out why they wanted you to do this. So even if your weekend looks like it's going to be packed and busy, it's likely that within the first day, by the end of Friday, you'll be free and clear for the rest of the weekend. Now, it's not to say that this person isn't going to come back up, and or they won't try and enlist somebody else to get you to do the same thing. You'll easily be able to see through it. So, Aries, for your Midnight Oracle card for the weekend, we have the Eternal Serpent. They are always going to try and circle back around. And remember that whatever power it is that you have, it's always going to be the same. It's just going to change how you utilize it, what you do with it. And just because somebody thinks that you have to utilize it for them does not mean that that you have to. Your spirit power, your physical energy, it's always yours. And even though someone may attempt to take that power away from you, attempt to say that, well, you owe me this, you need to do this, It's not always true. Just remember, if you say the same thing back to them and they don't like how it sounds coming out of your mouth, that request, that same request, they wouldn't comply to it, there must be something wrong with it. For your Angel Oracle card for the weekend, we have the Comfort card, Aries, Archangel Azrael. I am with you in your time of need, helping your heart to heal. So at the core of this request of whatever this whole event is or series of events somebody wants to happen, you do have the ability to say no, the ability to put up those boundaries, and you don't always have to put all the healing work into somebody else. You can heal yourself, and if the other person, they have their own healing journey. So moving on to Taurus. Weekend of 16th, 17th, 18th of January. The first card, the Ace of Wands. A new project, the urge to create, but are you seeing the potential rather than the reality? Some things are going to sound really good. They really are this weekend, and I'm taking longer to get these other two out, and then it's kind of interesting. And I'm from bed. Or almost, we're getting there. There we go. But for Taurus, we've got this Ace of Wands, and you may be seeing the potential, and right next to that, that second card is the Fool in reverse. That Fool in reverse is reiterating that the potential, you're seeing it, but you may not want to move on it. You're holding back for a reason. There's something behind this new plan that maybe you don't have the materials. Maybe you don't have the funding. Part of you may not be able to justify going through with this because of other responsibilities, what have you, whatever. The High Priestess is your third card, so your intuition is telling you to hold back. Like there's new information coming in, and as much as you want to do this and you're trying to find a way for this to work out, there's still a part of you that's saying, yeah, but not yet. Not yet. Maybe part of this is going to take too much out of you. Maybe your intuition is just telling you that my car is going to break down next weekend, and if I take this job and get started on it, I'm not going to be able to complete it. I'm going to have to quit 3 days in because they're going to need me there and I won't be able to get there. And it's not just a scheduled job. It's not just a W-2, whatever kind of job. It's a project. Like there is a certain chunk out of your life that you would be dedicating this to, but something is telling you to wait. And it may very well be that the other person is going to end up pulling back. That the other party is going to end up pulling back and saying, yeah, but I really don't want to give you the money up front for the materials. I don't want to... They don't want to do something that you require of them to do, and you may be saying that, well, I could trust this person. They always come through. This is a contract. If nothing else, I could take them to court. Something else is going to happen where there's a reason why you're not meant to do this yet. Now, there is a part of this that feels like the other person who's requesting this to be done, um, maybe it's a project manager maybe there's going to be a change in management at some point and they're going to cancel the contract. They're going to make it invalid somehow, and you're going to be stuck with the materials, you're going to be stuck with the cleanup, something along those lines, and it's going to be very important that you don't take someone at their word. You have everything in print. You have a contract. You have something concrete that you can go back to and refer and say that, well, you agreed to do this, and you're not following through, and I haven't received this, so I'm not going to follow through on my end. Fate may end up on your side somehow, where, like I said, your transmission goes out, something like that keeps you from being able to follow through on this before anything is concrete, before you lose any money. And it may be very important for you to listen to what the universe is trying to say. Like, the blocks are there for a reason. And with that high priestess being right there, you know you shouldn't trust this person, and you know you should have backup. It's likely that you've done this for quite a while, that you're used to dealing with people, and they may be asking you to do this without a contract, without any kind of concrete evidence that they wanted you to do this, that they had intent to pay you, because something is going to fall out, like the bomb's going to fall out of the basket if you go ahead and go against your intuition with this. And you may be stuck with the financial or the legal cost of this if you're not careful, but get everything in writing. Your intuition is correct. Do not go against your routine for somebody just because they tell you it's a good idea. For your Midnight Oracle card from days, we have the Titan. I really want to say that they're coming to you for a reason. Any energy that's coming towards you and asking you to do something, they're coming to you for a reason, and it's because this is something that's too big for them to handle on their own. And for some reason, they think that you can handle this, whether it's they intentionally go out to kind of screw you over. Like, well, they can handle the loss. It's kind of like someone going in and stealing from Walmart, It's like Walmart is not hurting from you stealing a pack of gum right now. Don't steal from anybody. Don't steal from Walmart. But, like, realistically, how much is that going to hurt the company? Now, if you stole, like, a trailer full of merchandise, that would be an impact for, like, the individual store or whatever. But, like, there's something about this that they think that you can take the brunt of the hit. And yeah, it's not. It's going to be a lot bigger of a problem than they think it is. That's why they're trying to give it to somebody else. But they still want something out of this, which is. But again, like I said, I think fate's going to step in and say, no, you can sit back down. You can sit right back down and not worry about this because you have another problem to deal with. And there we go. With Archangel Metatron, focus on your highest priorities. It'll help you get organized and motivated. So if somebody wants you to prioritize their stuff over yours, you will have a bigger problem come up. You will have a bigger issue to deal with, and you won't be able to help whatever this ill-intentioned person is. So we are now on to Gemini. For the weekend of the 16th, 17th, and 18th. Six of Cups? No, Seven of Cups, I'm sorry. The Lovers in reverse, and the Six of Swords. Do you feel like you're backsliding? Like you had all these options in front of you, Gemini, and now it feels like you gotta take it back a notch. You have to dial it back. Maybe these options weren't for you. It almost feels like you may have stepped into a position that maybe somebody else was going to be in, but you kind of felt like you got your foot in the door, you got a chance opportunity, Gemini, and somehow it's not working out. Maybe you changed your values and started valuing something that somebody else had, and decided what you wanted wasn't enough. So you kind of diverted what it is that you wanted to be what somebody else wanted. Maybe you were in a relationship, or you started out in a relationship, and like you didn't want kids, you didn't want the white picket fence, you wanted to travel for the rest of your life, and then you got with this person and you decide, well, maybe I do want kids. Maybe I do want the white picket fence. That kind of a thing. And that's where we've got the lovers coming in. It's because once you start to realize that you stop loving yourself, you stop focusing on what it is that you wanted out of life, and just kind of made all these amendments so that you lined up with somebody else. You realize that maybe you don't like who you become, or you don't like what it is that you have to do, and you went from this place of enjoyment to this place of maybe even hitting yourself a little bit. It's like, well, I'm not coming up to these standards. I'm not coming up to kind of falling in line with what this life means. And, put it in the reverse too. Maybe you wanted the white picket fence, you wanted the kids, you wanted the whatever, and now you're in this position where you're traveling the world, or you're traveling the country, and you don't have that physical stability. Whatever the case is, this disharmony that you're facing with yourself, this conflict of your reality and what you wanted, you're coming into a position of transition where you may be transitioning back to being you, being who you wanted to be, not what it is that happened to line up with what this other person, this other situation required you to be in order to fit with it. And I really think that the baggage that you're leaving behind is really just leaving behind somebody else's expectation. And all these swords in the boat are the ideas of what it is that who they wanted in their life, who they wanted to be with. And now you're transitioning back to being the ideas of who it is that you wanted to be, what it is that you want to do, what you wanted to accomplish, what it is that you wanted out of life, and being able to get over the emotion, utilize those emotions to get you back to that, transition you back to who it is that you are spiritually, emotionally. And for your Midnight Oracle card, the Eternal Bloom. So card number 17, I'm really drawn to that 17. So you could be born on the 17th. But with the Eternal Bloom card, you're always going to end up coming back to the honesty of who you are, whether you like it or not, Gemini. Now, a lot of times, people outside of Gemini, people who deal with Geminis, will say that, well, like maybe they're two-faced, like, well, you agree with one person, then you agree with the person that they're arguing with, because you can see both sides of it. And you're really being put in the position this weekend to say that maybe you've been taking somebody else's side rather than your own. And while, yeah, both sides can make just as much sense, what you always need to stand up for is what it is that you want, coming back to yourself. The rosebud dies off and falls off, and another rose always blooms in its place. So keep that in mind. Even whenever one version of you dies, you're going to come back. Your base self is going to come back, and you'll be able to make different decisions, and then that part of your life will die off. So you have this chance to constantly acknowledge that this is one part of your life and then that's over, and then you can rebuild and reconstitute yourself into the same thing but in a different way. It's not the same rosebud, it's a different flower, but it looks the same, it looks similar, and at the same time it's its own entity. Each rose is its own entity. So for your angel card, we have got courage. Archangel Ariel. Be courageous and stand up for your beliefs in yourself too. So keep that in mind. It doesn't have to be some high pie in the sky ideal that somebody else has said. You can say that I believe in myself. I believe in what it is that I want in life, and I believe that this is what I need to do for this right now. And I retain the right to change my damn mind. So Gemini, that is going to be it for you for this weekend, and my phone is dead, so I'm going to come back and do the rest of the signs in another video. So thank you guys if you tuned into this. I will try and timestamp everything and have it be a stacked video somewhere. So thank you very much, and please be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys for the other signs later.